Billy Butcher, the anti-hero of The Boys, and Guts, the protagonist of Kentaro Miura's Berserk, are two characters carved from the same stone of vengeance and tragedy. Both of these men exist within dark, unforgiving worlds, each driven by profound anger and a relentless pursuit of their nemesis. While their narratives differ in setting and tone, the parallels between Butcher and Guts are striking, particularly in their shared experiences of loss, betrayal, and the resultant fury. This report will delve into the stories of Billy Butcher and Guts, analyzing their similarities, exploring their backgrounds, and comparing their respective nemesis, Homelander and Griffith. Furthermore, it will examine how the misfortune of their love interests fuels their unyielding drive. Billy Butcher is introduced in The Boys as a former British Special Forces operative turned vigilante, whose sole mission it is to destroy the corrupt supes, aka superheroes, especially the leader of one such prominent supe group, the Seven, named Homelander, who is kind of a bastardized, and by the way, if you didn't know this already, spoiler alert, Homelander is kind of a bastardized amalgamation of Superman and Captain America. Butcher's vendetta is extremely personal, rooted in the belief that Homelander raped his wife Becca, leading to her disappearance. This personal tragedy transforms Butcher into a figure consumed by hatred and a desire for vengeance against those he holds responsible for corrupting society and ruining his life. Guts, the central character of the Berserk, is a lone mercenary whose life is quite literally a relentless struggle against fate, hate, and the supernatural. Guts was born from a corpse and raised in mercenary bands who took advantage of his youth and innocence. Guts' early life is marked by violence and survival. His most significant transformation occurs after joining one such mercenary band, the Band of the Hawk, led by the charismatic Griffith. And he forms a very deep bond with this group, particularly with the leader Griffith and Griffith's second in command, Casca. Ultimately, Griffith sacrifices and betrays his comrades to basically ascend to godhood. And this marks a huge turning point for Guts. The event where Griffith sacrificed his comrades to become a so-called god, more of a demon, is called the Eclipse. And there, Guts bears witness to the brutal violation of Casca by Griffith and the total annihilation of his comrades and brothers and friends of the Band of the Hawk. Not to mention, Guts loses his right arm. This ignites an unquenchable thirst for vengeance against Griffith. Going back to The Boys, Homelander is the leader of the Seven. He epitomizes the corruption and moral decay within the superhero establishment in The Boys. He's a very sociopathic figure. He embodies the worst aspects of unchecked power. For Butcher, Homelander is not just a target, but he's also a symbol of everything wrong in the world. Homelander's actions, particularly those believed to have led to Becca, his wife, suffering, make him the focal point of Butcher's wrath. The dynamic between Butcher and Homelander is one of mutual animosity, with Homelander's indifference and superiority complex just further fueling Butcher's hatred. Now, going back to Berserk, Griffith, leader of the Band of the Hawk, very charismatic and ambitious leader. He undergoes, as we briefly went over, a transformation that makes him Guts' nemesis. Griffith has a dream of ruling a kingdom, and this leads him to make the Faustian bargain of sacrificing his comrades to become the demonic femto. And this act of betrayal destroys Guts, who had considered Griffith a friend, mentor, brother, and Griffith's transformation into femto and his subsequent actions represent the ultimate betrayal and corruption, making him the central target of Guts' vendetta. The relationship between Guts and Griffith is complex. It's interwoven with themes of camaraderie, betrayal, and the devastating impact of ambition, which is why I think Kentaro Miura, rest in peace, was just such a genius. Now, getting to the root of their anger, both of these characters' anger and their respective drives for vengeance. Now, the boys. Butcher's anger is very multifaceted. It stems from personal loss, betrayal, and a profound sense of injustice. His vendetta against Homelander is not merely a quest for personal revenge, but he's also on a mission to expose and dismantle the corrupt system of superheroes. Butcher's anger is a driving force, propelling him to take extreme measures, and often he blurs the lines between right and wrong in doing so. His relationship with the team, the namesake of the show, the boys, is also colored by his rage as he manipulates and drives them with his singular focus on vengeance. Now, in contrast, Guts' fury is primal. It's born from a life of relentless struggle and pain, and compounded by the traumatic events of the eclipse to top it all off. His desire for vengeance against Griffith is intertwined with his need to protect Casca, who is left, by the way, in a catatonic state after the eclipse, after everything that happens to her. Guts' anger just only fuels this relentless pursuit of strength, driving him to face monstrous foes and overwhelming odds. Unlike Butcher, whose anger often isolates him, Guts' fury draws him into alliances with others who share his goals or values. His journey is just as much about avenging the past as it is about forging a future free from the shadows of his torment. Now, the role of love interests for both Billy Butcher and Guts. Now, we're going to compare Becca and Casca. So the misfortune of Becca and Casca play pivotal roles in shaping the destinies of Butcher and Guts, respectively. Becca's disappearance and presumed death at the hands of Homelander are the catalysts for Butcher's crusade. Her fate embodies the personal cost of the superheroes' corruption, making Butcher's mission deeply personal. In contrast, Casca's fate is a direct result of Griffith's betrayal. Her mental and physical violation during the eclipse profoundly impacts Guts, fueling his hatred for Griffith and fueling his desire to protect Casca. The suffering of Becca and Casca serve as the emotional core of both Butcher and Guts' motivations. For Butcher, Becca's fate is a constant reminder of the cost of his vendetta and the lengths he is willing to go to achieve his goals. His anger is both a weapon and a shield, driving him forward while isolating him from those who might temper his rage. For Guts, Casca's condition is a symbol of everything he has lost and a constant source of pain and determination. Guts' quest for vengeance is intertwined with his need to find a cure for Casca's condition and to create a future where she can be safe and whole. Now, tools for power. In The Boys, Butcher's use of Temp V, which is a temporary version of the compound that grants superheroes superpowers. And this symbolizes his willingness to adopt the very power he despises to achieve his goals. This choice reflects his complex relationship with power and morality. By using Temp V, Butcher gains superhuman abilities. He levels the playing field against the Supes. However, it also highlights his internal struggle and the risk of becoming what he hates, Supes. The temporary nature of Temp V serves as a metaphor for the transient and corrupting influence of power, posing questions about the cost of vengeance. Now, in Berserk, Guts has the Berserker armor. The Berserker armor, on the other hand, is a manifestation of his unyielding rage and his desire for revenge. This armor grants him immense strength and resilience, but at a severe cost. It erodes his sanity and threatens to consume his humanity, reflecting the internal battle Guts faces between retaining his humanity and succumbing to his darker impulses. The Berserker armor symbolizes the duality of strength and vulnerability, illustrating the precarious balance Guts must maintain to avoid losing himself entirely to the abyss of vengeance. Sounds familiar? It's a lot like Temp V in The Boys. The Berserk armor is magically powered, and Guts despises anything magical. He's actually quite famous for being he's really just a really strong guy who goes around killing demons and monsters and magical beings. So him using this magical power, just like with Billy Butcher using Temp V, it kind of just shows him, just a tool for him, shows the desperation for him in him achieving his goal. Now, in conclusion, Billy Butcher and Guts are really just two sides of the same coin. They're both driven by a profound sense of loss, and they both have this relentless pursuit of vengeance against their nemesis. While their worlds and narratives differ, the core elements of their stories, anger, betrayal, and the impact of their love interests' misfortunes, bind them together in a shared archetype of the tragic anti-hero. Butcher's battle against Homelander and the corrupt Supe establishment mirrors Guts' struggle against Griffith and the malevolent forces, also known as apostles, of the Berserk universe, also known as, or I should say, the God Hand. Both characters embody the destructive power of anger and the unyielding drive for retribution, making them enduring figures in contemporary storytelling. Thank you all so much for tuning in to a brand new episode of Eclectic Explorations. I really appreciate, like I said it before, I really appreciate everybody's likes, shares, subscriptions, constructive criticism even, emails, and I would definitely appreciate if somebody bought me a coffee, link in the description. Thank you all. Spread the word, keep sharing, and stay tuned for many more videos.